Hey guys, Will, really, your hair is really growing in there. It's very long.
Sean, I'm gonna go ahead and let you start again. We need a little bit more enthusiasm when we're starting
sorry.
an episode. I mean,
sorry.
it's just-
Hey, Will's hair.
And welcome to an all-new SmartLess.
You know, listener, every once in a while, Will and Sean and I have to have an adult conversation. We have to do a little bit of a Zoom, and we need to talk about scary legal things. And we just had one of those before this record. And Sean got a real head full of steam going in his legal prowess. And talking about, you know, how he looked through these documents and blah, 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 blah. And in walks an order of, presumably from an off-camera Scotty.
That's correct.
2 frosted strawberry Pop-Tarts and a half a glass of milk.
That's right.
And
right.
he keeps talking and all his legal. He starts choking on his fucking frosted Pop-Tart, offering legal advice
Jason,
to me and Will.
at one point he says to you, Jason, he goes with a mouthful of Pop-Tart, goes, if you want to send it to me, I love reading that stuff. And I go, you didn't even know the fucking document you were signing, Pop-Tart?
Yes, I did.
Oh, man.
Jason just got back from vacation. Oh, how lovely.
I'm very lovely and relaxed. Will looks like he's been on vacation for 6 months. He's got some new lighting in the whisper booth there. He's got a nice tan from his Long Island condo.
The light is great out here in the condo, and I was able to, you know, via the kindness of others, get out and play some golf. So I've been and spent a lot of time with the kids out here. We've been out at the beach a lot.
Quick, what are their names?
Terrence, Gladfill.
Nope.
That's wrong.
Karen.
You don't even have a girl. It's 4 boys.
Okay.
Karen.
Well, you caught me off guard.
How's everybody doing? I always feel like, Jason, we never get to see you anymore.
I know.
I know,
so
Jay,
long.
we were saying, Sean and I were FaceTiming last night. We were like, we never get to talk to Jason anymore. And even sometimes we do talk to him, and then Sean was like, yeah, no, but we never get to meet the real Jason anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, he only goes out on Saturday nights. I was talking about you guys on my break about the fact that you guys do talk all the time, and we never talk.
Well, you're working 15 hours a day.
No, but even when I'm not,
You hate a Zoom. And you hate a Zoom.
No, it's
you're
not about
cranky
this. It's
Zoom.
just no. I'm just not. Why am I not that kind of a friend that like talks every day to his best friends?
I'll tell you why. Because you're always working, and when you have downtime, you just want to be by yourself, which I get.
But you guys are so good about. Do you have like? I mean, I know Will. You've got like a nightly chat with the great Josh Shotland.
Yeah.
And probably with Sean P. Hayes.
I talk to a lot of people pretty much on the reg. I talk to Sean, not every night.
It's short for regular, listener. It's short for regular.
Once a week, probably twice a week, maybe.
Yeah.
I talk to Clay usually every other day. I talk to Eli
and Jason. I always text you first before we talk because.
But you know, it's one of those things. You got to also do it, and it's like
I know.
You and Sweet Pete Giles would be great best friends because you guys like spending a lot of time alone. And you know,
we've got a bunch of dolls with pins. You know, we just.
You sent me a nice picture from your trip with that bucket, that sweet ass Sergio Tacchini bucket hat that I bought you last year.
And I showed you it was a good use. You know,
and don't you have a collection of puppets that you play with, Jason?
Yeah, they talk to me all the time.
And you're also still really good friends with your gummies.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I talk to
those.
them. They never speak to me, but I'm speaking to them all the time.
Yeah.
Can we please just give, I think the kids usually say a shout out to, a holla, or whatever to our new host.
And then they might holla back, youngin'.
Yeah. our podcast, Bad Dates.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new host, Joel Kim Booster.
He's hilarious.
Yes.
He's going to be guiding us through all the legendary and insane true bad date stories, the amazing guest reveal, with all of their gory details you loved in season 1.
Yeah, it sounds so natural when you say it like that.
Yeah.
But no, this is our SmartLess media show called Bad Dates. It was,
we love this show.
It was with Jamila Jamil, and now it's with Joel Kim Booster, and it's going to be just as great. And everybody has bad dates. Everybody can relate to them.
Yeah, we can relate to them.
And so
And JKB is gonna. By the way, my same initials.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
JKB.
He's gonna walk you through it.
Yeah. So you can find new episodes anywhere you get your podcast.
Yeah.
Because we all know the worst dates make the best stories.
Ooh, that should be a line. That should be a tagline on the show.
Yeah.
Let's get
Really
some bumper
excited. I'm
stickers
really
going.
excited. I'm almost as excited about that as I am about my guest. My guest today.
Wow.
And you guys are going to be excited too. Now, first of all, man, this is nuts.
Uh-oh.
Because this is one of those people that I have, and I don't want to embarrass him, and he kind of knows that I don't know,
Too late.
but I super look up to him, which is not the most articulate thing I've ever said, but it is just it. I have been such a fan of what this guy does for so long, and there's an authenticity to who he is and how he does it that I've always just really responded to, and frankly, so have audiences
Millions
around the
and
world.
millions.
Look, he's been nominated for 120 awards. He's won 70 of them, and everything.
70.
Yeah, like from
What kind
Critics'
of
Choice
awards?
to Gotham Awards to Independent Spirit Awards to MTV Movie Awards.
Okay, so it's an actor.
To Satellite Awards, Saturn Awards, Teen Choice Awards, Film Critics Awards, Screen Actors
Teen
Guild
Choice,
Awards,
so he started young.
Primetime Emmy Awards, Golden Globe Awards, and BAFTA Awards, and Academy
British.
Awards.
Christian Bale.
The old school Academy Award. He doesn't have 70 wins. I mean, he's good, that guy, but Christian Bale, but he doesn't have 70
He
like
doesn't have
this
70.
guy.
Yeah.
This guy, you don't remember him from his first television appearance, which was on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood way back in the way.
I might.
Day.
What?
You might remember him as co-starring with David Letterman on the Mary Tyler Moore Hour. You're more likely to remember him from things like Mr. Mom, Gung Ho,
Michael Keaton.
But to me,
I got it first.
he is my Batman. You guys, it's Michael Keaton.
Welcome to the show.
There he is.
Michael.
He's got sunglasses on. Why do you have
bright.
sunglasses on?
Sorry, yeah.
He forgot.
Because I'm
Good
pretentious.
morning.
Forget about that whole authentic thing. I had sunglasses on.
Now you're going to wipe it out.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting.
Hello.
Thanks. Hi. How are you?
Welcome.
But the preamble.
It's obnoxious. I know.
No,
It's too
no.
much.
First of all, I was going to be a smart ass, but after Will being so sweet, now I can't be. And I'm so
No, you can't.
disappointed.
Please,
know you
please
can.
be a smart ass.
Oh, I can? Oh, okay. Yeah.
please
I
do.
would I would think that if there's one area, one format, one show where one could be a smart ass, this
Yeah. It's
This would be-
half the
Welcome.
title.
Welcome, yeah.
yes, this
Where
would
are we
be it.
finding you? Where's that pretty wall that looks like a cabin
Oh, yeah.
of some sort?
This is this is my home in Montana. Well, this is the cabin
Oh, wow.
of the property because the other house is being rebuilt and
Did it burn down?
Not down, but see smart ass.
I can't help it. You're going to have to
Yeah.
bear with me.
Yeah, you threw something out there, and now it's hurtful. So yeah, and this little house was reassembled from up the valley or down the valley, up the valley, many years ago. But that's where I am. That's where I'm sitting.
That's so nice.
But
So
you know,
peaceful.
listen to the whole thing, the how you guys do this. I have so many questions
Sure,
Yeah,
go.
go ahead.
about the
Go.
whole show.
Hit us.
Do you validate, first of all?
We
No,
do.
yeah.
It's stickers.
Why
It's
would
not a
it,
stamp.
is one of your questions, why would anybody listen to you idiots?
No,
We
no,
can't
no.
figure it out. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Well, let me ask this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all have either adapted or you always had it. You all now have like a radio voice. Did you always have this radio voice?
We're learning from Will. Will makes
Yeah.
millions with those
Yeah,
pipes.
I did.
Give him professional
No,
grade.
seriously, Jason, you've got kind of a calm, groovy thing going. You know, like you're laid back.
It's
and,
gummy
you know,
induced.
however you get there, you got that thing.
However you get.
Mine's just annoying in Chicago.
No, you're very witty.
Okay,
I'm,
well, there
I'm
you
coming
go.
to you in a minute.
Here comes Will.
And we'll just kind of, I didn't know. I swear to God, this is true. When I would see those Reese's commercials, I'd say, "That dude's funny." I don't know. I swear to God, I didn't know who it was. There's a few people out there I'm looking at right now, and I watched these commercials. I saw a guy the other day. I don't know who the hell he is. He's so funny and so good in it. And I was, you're reminded of how hard it is to crack open, to have people see you, to find a spot, and
with just your voice,
fortunate. No, seriously. Okay, Sean, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you and I not, many, many years ago,
Yes,
you're already nodding, right?
Yeah.
We met a long time ago because
Many
you were
times.
working for
Yeah,
Don't say many times. Don't
'cause you used to
embarrass
say-
him now.
And by the way,
He's about to give you. He's just olive branching it, and then you cut him
Okay,
off
sorry.
with the fucking many
Sorry.
times.
He'll do that.
What's
He'll do
wrong
the
with you,
smile.
Sean?
He'll smile you right through the
Jesus,
knife.
So
fuck.
sorry.
He'll smile you right through.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's right. That's his superpower. You used to work for, am I wrong? You used to work for a catering company or something. Is this true when you were getting
When
started?
I first moved, the very first year, I worked at a restaurant called Red. And then part of that was to, sometimes people would, I'm doing a wedding. So I'd do to make an extra $100, I would help out
Yes.
yeah. And it was, yeah.
And I met you at a party, didn't I?
That's right, yes.
And I said, who's this funny guy? This
Yes.
guy's so witty.
And that was,
Let's hear this.
that was over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And,
What an
and,
impression.
and also, but I kept meeting you over and over. And Michael, we can cut this if you'd like, so don't worry. And I kept meeting you over and over because you used to date Julie Bowen.
For a minute, yeah,
a
who's
minute.
great, and
And I used to be friends with Julie Bowen, and then
Yeah.
I would always run into you at parties.
Yeah.
And at that,
Yeah.
that
Why
hotel
cut it?
Sunset.
Who would want?
But by the way, why cut it? But also, you know what you could say, so that you don't have to cut it. Say, and also, we both know Julie Bowen. You could have said that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're so
okay.
done,
Are
Sean.
you
Okay,
fucking new today,
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah.
The
He's all
fuck
hopped
is
up
going
on Pop-Tart sugar.
Yeah,
I am. I'm kind of flying. Jason's on a
Sean
gummy.
got
I'm on a
fired.
Pop-Tart.
Sean got fired from that job, right, Sean? You ate into their profits. Isn't
By the
that
way,
the
no,
truth?
Michael was it at? I think it was at. Who played Goose in the original? What's his name?
Anthony Edwards.
Oh, Anthony Edwards.
It was at Anthony Edwards' house, and he was having a wedding for somebody.
I don't know, but don't go deeper because you
sorry.
already know.
Listen,
But poor Julie in a bad spot.
Michael, do you remember?
Now Julie's in a bind.
Yeah.
She's having to explain to
Jeez,
somebody
it
where
was so
she
easy
was
just to say yes, we did. That's
Yes,
what
sir.
happened.
30 years
Yes,
ago.
sir.
Somebody's saying, fucking Julie was, remember she wasn't around? It turns out she was hanging. Jesus.
No, but I will say, every single time I ran into you, whether it was when I was around Julie or not, one of the nicest guys, always.
Oh well, thanks.
Yeah, always, and super funny, and allowed me to be funny in front of you. You're very
I
generous.
like funny people.
Michael, I don't know if you know this too, and our mutual friend is Courtney Cox from years ago, and a good friend of ours, and Jason was just on vacation with her, we were talking about. And I remember saying to Courtney, I used to be, this is like 10 years ago, I go, what's Michael Keaton like? I used to flip out because I was such a fan of yours for so long.
Oh,
You were
yeah,
such a
same.
huge
Still
inspiration.
is. Probably still is.
Still is. And
Probably.
so what I want to get into, and that's going to get me to my first thing, which is two things. Two movies that to me were like, and they're not underrated because they were big hits, but first of all, Mr. Mom to me
One of the best.
was a genre changer, right? Nobody done a movie like that. And you did it with such ease. And the great part was it wasn't putting down a stay-at-home parent. In fact, it was pumping it up.
100%.
And it was so, to me, that was what was so interesting about it. You know what I mean? Like, because especially in that time, those were different days back then. But you did it in this way that kind of took that on and flipped it on its head. What was it like reading that script, getting that offer, deciding whether to do it, shooting it, all of it? I've always loved that movie, man.
So I'm really glad you brought this up. First of all, let's get this out of the way because I kind of hate this part. I'm a giant fan of all three of you guys. But here's why that's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it. Because, I'll sometimes when I'm doing, I don't do a lot of them, but I'm doing an interview or being interviewed or something, I will actually volunteer Mr. Mom for a bunch of reasons. A, it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And how it came to be was John Hughes's first, I think it was the first script he sold.
Wow.
And then he
know
became John Hughes. Yeah, John Hughes wrote it. And I was sitting, and he, was pitching me. Even didn't have to pitch it. You guys all will know this. when you're reading a script, in a comedy script, and the good ones don't come around very often,
No.
and you laugh out loud by yourself, let's say, 2, 3, 4 times a script, you go, whoa, that's huge.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah,
That's huge.
100%.
exactly.
And you
that's
go, okay,
that's the
there's-
number too. It's only about 2 or 3 or 4 times, but it's like
Yeah,
that's
because-
amazing.
It is amazing, and the average layman, let's say, wouldn't know that, but that's how it works. So I remember actually one thing he did, and it was an area that I generally don't laugh or find funny, was the baby had diarrhea, and my head went back. My head went back so far it hit the wall in the back. My head hit the wall. I thought, because it was how it was presented, how it was set up, and where it came in the script, where he got me, where you were at that point. And I went, boom, right there. That thing kills me right now. So I sat with him. I said, I listened to him. He was not without an ego, and I liked him. But I said, you should direct this thing. You know how to make this movie. And he said, no, I'm not going to direct. He was a Chicago ad exec guy, And so what I knew about it was, it was funny, and I also liked kind of the time. The reason I thought I couldn't do it was I looked like I was about 10 years old. And I thought, and then we had to kind of write that in, because I thought, okay, let's say he married young. And how do we really believe this? Because as you all three will know, if you don't, it can be as outrageous, as funny as like Jim Carrey or the craziest guys are. They set up their own reality, right? So once it's like Carson used to say, you buy the premise, you buy the joke. So if you go, yeah, that's crazy what he's doing, but it's actually not crazy
In his world.
In that, that's right, in that world.
Yeah.
So I said, how do we believe this guy? Because that's the only way this thing's going to work. And there was a lot of rewriting on the set, I will say, between me and my then manager partner Harry Colomby and some other people. It was a great cast. And so what I dug about it was, it was funny. I liked playing a father because I like being a father. I liked what it was about, and it was ahead of its time in that, at the time, the U.S. economy was not very good, and it was hard. The unemployment was not great, and the idea of a woman going out to the workforce, as crazy as this sounds, and whenever we shot that 80-something,
83.
83 was not like that unusual, but it was fucking unusual by comparison, right?
Yeah.
And I like I have 3 sisters and a mom. I have most people who work for me are women. I didn't plan it that way. It's just how it is. So I like that whole setup and the premise, and I thought, okay, now how do we let's just make this funny. So it was already funny, but there were things, because the director, who was a talented guy, but he was not a comedy guy, we had to work on, let's say. And there was a lot of rewriting going on, as an example, the whole chainsaw thing came about on the morning, because as we were getting ready to do it, there was no chainsaw scene. That didn't exist. Martin, the late great Martin Mull,
Yeah.
funny.
comes in and says, he's taken Terry off. I have so much to say about this, because not enough credit is given to Terry Garr.
Well, I was going to get.
Oh my God,
I'm going to get into Terry Garr in a second. So keep going. Mike.
Okay, I'll finish up. Sorry, going on too long.
No, I love it.
But so that scene was one thing, right? But what I knew was, I said, but how does this guy feel? How insecure is he right now, and how emasculated is he right now? And when Martin walks in, just fucking cocksure, just fucking beautifully played, like looking so brilliantly arrogant, looking at me, and I'm thinking, okay, what would this guy do when he's panicked? He's not ready for this. So I said to the prop guy, hey, get me like, I don't know, like he's pretending like he's working on the house, like tools or something. He shows me a chainsaw. I go, yes. And I said, run down, you have any of those goggles? And I go, yeah. He goes and gets the goggles. And then we just played it from there. Obviously insecure, obviously scared to death. Overcompensating out of his ass. And then the 220 line was Martin's.
It was Martin's line.
What was the line again?
I said, yeah, we're probably going to I didn't know what I was talking about. So yeah, we're probably going to rewire the whole thing. And Martin, and that was the end of that. And Martin said, you know what you should say? Martin says something like, how you going to wire it? And I go, I don't know. He says you should say, 220, 221, whatever it takes. That's Martin Mull's line. I keep telling people
It's
that
so
that was not me.
And by the way, the movie you did before that, Night Shift, I watched over and over and over.
Oh, my God.
I love that movie. And the one line that stuck out in my head, of course, is when you're like, we could just feed the tuna the mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get it open. And as a kid, I was like, that's such a genius idea.
Oh, my God,
Just feed the tuna fish the
Sean is
mayonnaise.
That's such a genius idea.
Willie, now that I was just listening to Michael talk, it strikes me that I'll bet you Michael Keaton is an enormous influence on your style. I mean, you actually remind me of one another.
Yeah.
That's a compliment to me, not to
yeah.
him. That's a compliment. You're complimenting me
for sure.
by you know what I mean? Because
unintentionally. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Because, and I meant it when I said it is huge influence. And I want to get into, because then there were so many other films, too, that I thought deserved a lot of attention. One of them being Clean and Sober, which I think is a phenomenal film.
Yeah,
And not just
thanks.
because I could relate to what he went through, but I just think it's with the great M. Emmett Walsh. I mean, there's just some amazing moments in that film. But I do want to talk about Terry Garr for 1 second, because I also loved Terry Garr, and what was that
Same.
like? What an unbelievable talent. Am I right?
Spirit.
Oh man, and who you look at all the really great funny women. There's so many now, and there were kind of, relatively speaking, so few then. But
Well, they didn't write the great parts for them back then, right?
And look at Terry, man. She had everything. She still has everything. She's so sweet, and I just love her. And
I think Catherine Hahn is like a modern day
Yes,
Terry Garr.
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
yeah, and you look at she's witty and funny and feminine and masculine and all that stuff, and just had it, and has it, and and helped me, like you guys know, you can't do it on your own. You need somebody to set you up.
For sure.
We'll be right back.
And now back to the show.
But Michael, your ability to find material or material find you, and casts and directors that find you, and you find your career is just like I don't want to embarrass you, but like Willie said, but your ability to jump from comedy to drama so seamlessly for so long, your run, your relevancy is just it's been going for so long and continuing on this great escalating pitch that I hope you're as proud of as you deserve to be, because you're just an incredible actor that knows how to make people laugh when you're playing a part and make people cry. Like, you're not a comic, you're not a so I can you talk a little bit about how, I won't ask you to explain how you see yourself, but what attracts you to certain stuff? What's your goal,
Yeah, well, I will speak about it, but I kind of want to stop because that's just too good. I'll leave it at that. Well, thank you, first of all.
Just can't label you, and that takes a lot of
okay, well, let's start with that. So first of all, let's thank good fortune and all that. I don't believe in luck. I've never believed in luck, but I believe in good fortune.
I do. I say that, dude. I literally say the same
because it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I say I'm fortunate. I'm not lucky. I'm fortunate.
No, man. You know why? You earned what you did. All three, a lot of us, we all earned it. We worked our asses off to do it.
There's a lot of talented people out there that, luck plays a huge part of it, because if everybody who was talented got the jobs, there wouldn't be any left.
That's
luck
right.
plays a big part of it. So we're all appreciative of that.
Yeah, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Grateful.
Yeah.
So there was the only plan. And by the way, I'm breathing rarefied air right now. I realize that I don't know how many other guys there are. I saw Jeff the other day at Bridges, who lives over the mountain range here.
Another one, exactly like that.
Yeah, he I was saying, there's not many of us doing this, and I want to keep doing it, but I want to keep doing it I always wanted to do it how I wanted to do it. I know that sounds arrogant and kind of selfish, but I just knew I'd be happiest that way. And so every time I had a television show that got canceled, which was 3 of them, I guess, I could not tell you how happy I was because I felt freer to move on to the next thing. So if I had a strategy, and I don't know that it was a strategy, it was only this. Right after Night Shift, there were some things offered to me. And when I think back, I go, wow, that took a fairly sizable set of balls. I said, no, I knew I wanted to do the Mr. Mom. And then there were a couple others that I thought, I don't know, like all 3 of you, I'm sure, I would think, you say, but I really have a pretty big imagination, and I'm curious about a lot of things, and I'd like to play other things. I'd like to explore other things. I'd like to see, and if it doesn't work, then I know at least I have this for a few years. I can maybe grind out 5, 6, 8 years of me being that guy.
Right.
And I thought, but I think what will happen is people are going to get very bored very quickly with this kind of guy they saw in Night Shift, etc. And so I said, well, then let me lay down something early and see if that works, because that will potentially open up a wider range for me. And I don't know if this is going to do it, but that was the only conscious thing. The other is you just trust your gut. And so I made certain decisions early on. I was told, don't do Clean and Sober, don't do Pacific Heights, don't do a lot of things. And I said, yeah, but I want to do those things and I want to lay it down. So I passed up certain movies that turned out to be great movies, and I don't want to talk about them, but they turned out to be great things. And I probably, in retrospect, 1 or 2 of those probably should have, but I was fearful that, look, I always feel like, and this is my own, so I need to talk to somebody about this, because I always feel, man, if I'm in 2 movies a year, people are going to go, enough already. We are so friggin' sick of you, you know. We just, like, enough. And so I had that, and that's not a healthy thing. But I just wanted to lay down the potential possibility that, well, wait a minute now, I don't know what to do with him. And the risk is, as you guys know, well, that could be dangerous. And I just rolled the dice because I always bet on me. Don't ask me why, but I do.
But you also had this great combination between leading man and character actor. That's what for me, just as a consumer of you, of a fan, you never really took the junk food, the celebrity stuff. You always were just playing an actor. You were either a character actor or a leading man, and sort of this great ratio between both, and comedy and drama. And then for my money, like this incredible, validation in Birdman, but at a moment where a filmmaker and an actor come together, sort of in this incredible little recipe between the two that you wouldn't normally put together. And then I don't know, there's been a few combinations like that was just so exciting to see that combination. And then of course the film itself and the concept of the film as well, just everything coming together and just a rocket ship. And it was so exciting for me to see. Just the story in the community, and then also just the film itself.
Well, but also Michael, like, as Jason sort of said, you kind of defied genre in that you couldn't be put in a thing. You got to be a movie star on your own terms, right? You got to kind of, in a time where there really aren't really movie stars in that way anymore. I mean, there are, but it's different. But you were in like the height of the movie star era, and yet you were able to kind of think about it in that year. You were talking about like doing stuff you wanted to do in 1988. You did Beetlejuice and Clean and Sober. Yeah. Now, you want to talk about 2 movies on different ends of the spectrum.
Exactly.
Okay? And then the next year, you did the first film, and we're going to get into Batman in a second. Yeah. Because it's the one thing that I feel a real kinship with
But you were part of a lot of firsts. Like Will's kind of saying, like Mr. Mom, nobody was doing a comedy like that. You were the first one to do a comedy kind of like that. Right. And then Beetlejuice, and then Batman. Like, you were the first to do a lot of things. Is that something you look for? Like, in scripts.
Well, I was
is like,
going to say. So you do that in that 1 year. You do Beetlejuice and Clean and Sober. What was that year like for you? And
Your agent must have. You made your agent look fantastic that year. You know.
yeah, exactly.
And meanwhile, that's right. And at the time, that's not what happened. As you guys know, it didn't happen that way. Tim sought me out because he sought me. He said that I'd like to talk to that guy, and so yeah, that and I will also credit Elvis Mitchell, whom I'm actually going to speak with later. Wow. And Elvis ended up working for me and my partner Harry for a couple of years because we read this guy. We thought we just dug what he was about and liked him, and he worked for us for a minute. And I'll credit Elvis. I don't know what the award was. It was either New York. I don't know what it was. New York Film Critics or Film Critics Award. There was something. They didn't have an event. And Elvis kind of said, "Excuse me," what Will just said, basically. And then they said, "Okay, sure, we'll give it to him." And then I have somewhere a piece of paper or something, but that didn't come that came from Tim asking about me, wanting to meet me about Beetlejuice through David Geffen. And the Clean and Sober thing came, and that was another thing that people said, you don't want to do that. That's not. And my agent literally at the time said, I don't think you should do that. And I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure I should, just because I want to. This is a really well-written script. You guys know this. I mean, it's hard to find something that's, the writing will drive everything ultimately, right? Now, whether it comes together, that's another story. But so I'll run through this. I'm sorry. And so that in 1 year, I didn't plan any of that. That just happened. I just said, man, this guy Tim Burton, he is something. I don't know what he is. I just know for sure he's something. And when he tried to explain Beetlejuice to me, they said, what did you think? I said, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't understand it. But I like that guy. And he said, he wants to talk to you. Will you just give him another one? I go, yeah, all right, I'll go meet him again. And I go talk to him. And I said, yeah, well, I'm still the same. I still don't understand. I say this about Tim, who I freaking love. I would say in his life, he is, a declarative sentence, with a subject, a verb, and then a period at the end. I'd say he's completed maybe eight declarative simple sentences. He just doesn't think like that.
That's really funny.
He's not that guy, you know. And so I meet him and I go, okay, I'm getting closer. Then he said two things to me, and I went, all right, I think this guy's worth it. So I said, give me a minute. And I went home and I started thinking about it. And he said a couple of things, and I asked for a wardrobe from every period of time to go to my house. I was renting this house that time was empty. I didn't know furniture. And I just started hand picking stuff. And then there was something about that I found kind of spooky and creepy about, like, bad teeth and a semi-broken nose and a walk. And I said, what about, and then I just started going to work. And I said, you know what? There's something about this guy. I really dig him. Fuck it. I don't know. Does this work? And so that happened. And then Clean and Sober was just another script. It wasn't
Wait, Michael. Wait.
Okay.
The character of Beetlejuice. First of all, half the movie you're in like old timey prison garb,
Right?
And okay, and you've got this fucking, and you've got like mascara on that covers half your face, and your hair is sticking up, and you've got this voice, and you go. Yeah, and you're like, stay where you are.
It's so
and
good.
you kind of, and you fucking,
Such a
and I'm
great
like,
big
you want to talk
swing.
about taking a big fucking swing?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go? How do you show up day one? Are they like, okay, guys, let's rehearse. All right, we're gonna block the scene, and you come like, say it to your dad.
Right.
Like, what
Everybody-
the fuck is going? What's this
deal
guy
with
doing?
it.
I mean, it's a lot, and it fucking you drilled it in a way that you
Did you
couldn't even-
preview that for Tim before the first rehearsal on the
Will,
first
that's
day?
very insightful, Will, because you're right. That's what no, I didn't. And that was the beauty of, and is the beauty of working with him. You're really just making stuff. Like, let's go make stuff, And so we talked, and no one was paying attention. The budget was small, and no one was paying attention. And we were down in Raleigh Studios, and
Oh my God.
and I said, okay, I don't know. Here's what's weird about this. Think of this. we never tested it. We never tested it. I said, here's what I want to do. It's like he stuck his finger in a thing. He starts here and he goes up from there. It's never like, there's no arc.
Yeah.
There's no, you just,
He goes from 10 to 15.
right. And I said, and I don't know why, I don't have an actor's explanation for any of this shit. Like, the great thing about this thing is you never could say my character wouldn't do that.
Right. There are no rules. Yeah.
There are no rules. The freedom was unbelievable. So Will, that's insightful, because I go, Tim had the suit, Tim had the eyes, Tim had the pale makeup, and he said something to me about, he's from all different, he appears out of time, in the 20s and the 18, he's not connected to any time or anything. He might go underground for years until he's released. So I said, underground. I said, how about mold? Let's do some mold up the face, And then I said, okay, the hair is like, it has to stick all the way out. But the striped suit was Tim's vision. He started showing me pictures of all his stuff. And so on that day, when I showed up, I went, I don't know. Here we go. Right. And as soon as I walked in the first scene, you can see him, his eyes get big and he lights up and he goes, yes. And then, it's the ultimate yes and, because he'd go, oh, I didn't know we were going to do that. Hold on a minute. If you're going to do that, let me show you something. See, when you go up there, this is what that's going to... He had to explain to me what was going to happen. And I went, oh, I think I get it.
Because of the visual effects?
Yeah, because of the visual effects.
Would happen later? Yeah.
Yes. And
Gotcha.
also...
Fuck, man. Dude, you're out on a... I love this so much.
Out on a
love
ledge.
the idea that you're out on a fucking ledge and you don't know where you're fucking going. That to me is
and didn't give a shit.
And don't get... That's my fucking dream come true, man.
Yeah, I know. It's so fun to talk to you guys about this, because I'm with three people who kind of know what I'm talking about.
But then you land it into
But
the
then you
most...
go to clean and sober.
Exactly,
Like
which is the most, like, no tricks, no makeup, no wardrobe.
No.
It's just people
No
talking
hiding.
and being raw and, like, I'm being honest.
It's Mike Tyson walking in with trunks and 2 boxing gloves.
Yeah.
How many people over the years have come up to you and told you that clean and sober had a profound effect on their life?
Lots. And boy, that means something to me. It's so, I say this, and I don't care what people think. I'm so blessed that I get to do some things that every once in a while that'll happen. You know, how many people have that job? A lot of people would like that job. I have that job. That's why I did Worth.
Yeah.
That's why I did, My Life.
My life.
And you go, you got to do these things if you got the opportunity. You've been given you've been given this thing. Yeah, I earned it, but I've been also given it. So if you can throw everybody a solid, fucking do it. And then go make some money.
Speaking of which, speaking of making money, you go in 1989. You once again. Team up with Tim Burton and you do Batman.
Yeah.
And that is the fucking game changer.
Yeah.
That's the game changer of game. And in a lot of ways, you doing that allowed me to make some money.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So I guess I kind of fucking owe you, dude. A little bit. A little bit. You did the first. I am Batman.
By the way, I'll give you my business manager's address.
Just Venmo. You just do Venmo.
Venmo it.
Straight Venmo.
And Michael, I just got out of high school when that came out, when the Batman came out, and I was like, wait, the guy from Night Shift that I've seen a million times, and Mr. Mom, he's Batman. Like, and then I didn't.
Take the
I
look
heard
of your
about
face again.
No, but wait, hang on, wait for it. And then I even saw the trailer. I was like, oh my God, nailed it in the trailer.
I remember seeing the poster
like,
for it. Do you remember seeing the
God.
poster, just the symbol of the Batman? And I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck is this?
So how about some credit to Tim for going, that guy. And people went, what are you, out of your mind? And he went, no, that guy. So I don't think enough credit has been given to him. I went, we had the meeting, he and I sat, he said, take this home and read it, tell me what you think. And I remember where I was sitting, where the window was, and he and I were talking, and I said, well, so here's what I think, but nobody's going to do that. And he went, "That's exactly right." And so he had to go to them and say, "No, that guy." And to his credit, boy, he changed everything. He changed everything. I could talk.
I mean, Marvel exists. All of it exists because of that movie,
100%.
dude.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
A lot
All
of
of
people
it.
made a lot of money off me and Tim and Jack.
Sean
and
has
everybody
nutted
else.
over 1,000 times to Marvel movies because of that movie.
Yeah.
Right? 1,000 nuts.
There's that.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that.
No, you can't put
yeah.
a price.
So, but it did. It launched the, and ever since then we've all been fucking under the tyranny of IP. But
Yeah.
But you did start
Boy,
that,
good way
and
to put it.
And it was I stole that from somebody, but
No, you're right.
But it's true. But you guys started it. You and Tim Burton. But you as the face. Tim is incredible. Obviously, like you said.
Well, and you kind of invented the whole, like Will just said, like the whole thing, like the tone and the feel and the look and the
And
everything.
then there was humor to it, but it was also serious, and there was action, and it was dark.
Yeah.
And
But Will, there was very little humor in it. And, maybe we
no, but
can't
you had moments though.
Yeah.
Where you, as Bruce
No, I mean in the
Wayne.
original script.
Oh, really?
Yes. And so maybe it's just an instinct, but there were scenes, because even that pressure was on Tim so big. Pressure was on all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And you felt it every day. You go, studio, people flying in, because this was a big swing for everybody. But there wasn't, and I don't know if it's the instinct or not, a gut feeling saying, well, wait a minute, a lot of this kind of darkness, I mean, maybe not so much. So as an example, in that scene where the big long table where Vicky Vale comes over and I'm having a date and I'm so nervous, and I go, do I tell her, do I not tell her? I can't let her know, but I really like this woman. And she's sitting there and she asked me about the room, and I said, Tim, what would be funny? And there were a couple of these moments. I said, if he goes, yeah, and then he realizes, I don't think I've ever been in this room before. You know what I mean? Which says everything about the character.
Right.
You go,
Yeah.
who's this lonely guy? He,
Yeah.
rambling around a house,
Yeah.
It's
cool.
great sort of like high-low of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff, that kind of awareness of it, and not taking himself too seriously, really, in that moment.
Yes.
Because there's a way that could come across as a dick, and it wasn't. You got it. It all fell within the context of a guy who is really rich, but his parents were murdered, but all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
dude,
kind of a weird dude, like a weird
very
dude.
weird dude. And but you. What was it like when that movie came out, and it was, as you said, it was a big swing for everybody, big swing for you and your career, big swing for Tim Burton, big swing for the studio. They put a lot of money into it. The books have been written about this movie and how it got made, et cetera. And when that movie comes out and it's a fucking smash hit, how many high fives? Did you have to bandage your hand from the high fives?
or was it the opposite? Was it? Oh, this is going to be a level of exposure and responsibility now that could change things, and it might not be comfortable.
More of that.
Jason,
Yeah.
Jason immediately looks at the negative.
Yeah, or was
Oh
it
my
that?
God! Now I'm obligated to go and say thank people for.
I
paying
have
the
junkets
money.
I have to go to.
Now all of a sudden, now I've got to talk to my business manager. It's good news.
very
Is
funny.
it good news? It's good news for you.
Now, did you guys know the chemistry would work? Like Jason Brink is, every once in a while he needs to do what he just did. Did you guys go, oh fuck? That's why we hired the guy.
Let's bring in a dork.
That's why
Yeah.
bring him
Well,
in.
we've had the good fortune, guys. I'm going to say of being friends for 20 years. So we knew.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
We have a good little.
It's
dance
like the
with
guys
each other.
on TBS, Charles Barkley and those guys. Someone just needs
isn't
to
that-
say to them, don't touch
Hey.
it.
Right?
Don't touch it. Just
I
don't
love
mess
those
with it.
guys.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
And now back to the show.
But did you You must have. Was it not what Jason was saying that you felt an obligation?
No, I was going there. I like that actually.
Yeah, you were thinking about the deal you'd already struck for the sequel.
No,
It's
you
like,
woke up and you're like, did you buy a Ferrari? What the fuck did you do that next morning?
Got a tattoo, a Batman tattoo on your.
You're like, I never even want a Ferrari, but I better fucking get one now.
I don't even want one. That's true. I actually did investigate getting a Ferrari one time.
Yes.
I actually did.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I'm too lazy for the amount of work and effort I'm going to have to put into this. I'm just
You mean the
too
clutch and the
lazy.
stick, right?
Yeah, well, not that so much, but like, do I have to be careful? Where can I really drive it? Is this really worth it? I'm blessed that I don't need a lot of stuff because I'm just lucky that I don't need a lot of stuff. I'm not so cool. I just don't. I don't have an interest in it.
I love that you thinking through the practicality of a Ferrari.
Yeah, I know. I'm
There's
going,
nothing practical about it.
You can't valet it. Like, what do you do?
Is it good on ice?
all of a sudden, I'm the least interesting, most unfun guy. Oh, I don't know if this is practical.
I'm going to put my clubs. There's no back seat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Really,
But you must have been elated, and it must have felt like a good vindication. Now, look, you'd had a lot of success before, but this was like a different thing, I bet. Right?
I let myself enjoy it.
It was global. You
Good.
let yourself enjoy it.
Yeah, and also what Jason called the downer. Let's just refer to it. No, and a little bit of that. It's like, whoa, this is a lot. It's not. I don't love this kind of stuff.
And sometimes
Grateful though.
knowing who you are now and all your success with all of the unbelievable, your resume is just one of the most impressive ever.
It really is.
It's just incredible.
It's
I always, you don't think about, oh, well, that guy probably had an audition. I just see you as a movie star. But when you're younger, you had to audition and start out, just like all the rest of us. And it's hard to imagine you walking into a room. What made you, where did you grow up?
Yeah, right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And so what got you to LA? Like, what made you want to do it?
Well, boy, we could go. Let me make it.
We have 10 minutes left.
Okay.
For this one answer.
Okay, right. Yeah, I auditioned a couple times. What's the next question? No.
I'm kidding. I'm totally. We have an hour. Whatever you want.
I was this kid who was, started to get very interested in. I thought, could a person do this? And yeah, because I come from so not that background, except my funny family, my funny brothers and sisters, and a big family, and the youngest. So there's that, right? So when I went to school, I was always curious because my friends and I were the guys I hung with tightly, and some young women at the time were funny, and I'd like to be around them, and I knew what my taste was and so I was not a theater kid. However, I did take a couple theater classes, so I was clearly curious about this, and I was not very good, I don't think. I auditioned for a play. I got a little role in a play in school. Didn't really do anything for me. And then I dropped out of school to make some money to go back to school. And in the interim, I was doing this play in Pittsburgh, Sticks and Bones, and at the same time working at the PBS station where I do everything and everything. And at the same time, while I was in school, I was really into the Lampoon, and I was really into
for sure.
everything funny, and and so I started writing, and I thought, I don't know if I can even do this other thing. If I ever try it, maybe I could write this. You're just a kid trying to figure things out, right?
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'm kind of liking this, and I just trusted myself, and I said, you know what, this is either going to happen or not happen. So I started to go to New York, where I was about to move, and at the last minute, I went to California thinking I'd only stay there for a summer. And I was writing, and I started performing stand-up and doing a play, and the stand-up thing worked in New York like that off the bat. I mean, when I say worked, it didn't work. It worked in that I got asked back the first time I showed up, and that's a big deal. Yeah. So you did that, and I went, I really love this because it was theater. To get to the auditioning part, so now I go to California, and I'm going to do this real fast. And I'm sleeping on floors like everybody else, and crashing with buddies, and working in restaurants, and doing all the things, parking cars, doing everything everybody does. The thing that turned it around in terms of the audition process was, I was an okay auditioner, but when young people ask me, I tell them this all the time, forget I need, throw that out, you're fucked. You have the job. The job is for the next 15 minutes, you're at work.
Right.
The audition is the job. That's the
Right.
gig.
Right.
So you got to go to work today for 15 minutes.
Right.
You know, it's excruciating. It's a horrible setup for, you know, there's nothing good about it. But that was once I said, I'm not going to look at this like, I got to get this. I turned the corner where I said, you know what, man, I feel pretty good today about what I did. So I'm just going to look at it like at 3:30 out at MTM Studios or wherever I was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to Radford. I'm going to work. And so I thought, yep, get ready
What
to
a
go to
great
work.
approach.
My job only
that's
lasted
great,
20
yeah.
minutes. And then I went to my regular job and I said, I don't know, fuck
That's
it.
great.
That was it.
I love
freed
that.
me up. Totally freed me up.
Of course it did. And I like the idea of also telling that to young actors because people, you know, they ask me for advice all the time and I always say, you know, fuck off. So now I have something that I can say I came up with.
Get that camera out of my
Who the
face. you
fuck?
punk.
Who gave you? My parents know your parents. Shut the fuck. No, but that is such great
gave
advice,
you
and it is. You know, I think the other thing is it kind of falls in the same line of like, once you get older and you've done a bit more in doing what we do, you start to, and you get to the other side and you have a chance to direct JB and produce stuff and whatever, you realize that they are looking to solve a problem, right? That they want somebody to come
Right.
in. They want what you don't know as a young actor.
They're on your
is
side.
They're on your side. They want you to get this job
Huh.
because
Yeah.
because
They got another character to cast.
yeah, because
Yeah,
once
that's
I
right.
figured that out, and I was like, and I remember casting something, you know, with Mitch and being like, and people coming in and going like, oh fuck, I hope this dude's good, man. Not, and I used to think
Yeah.
that they're like, oh, show me. No, we're like, fuck it, this
Yeah, I
guy's
want to check the
great.
box. I want to check
Yeah,
that
but
box. up
you
there.
guys are actors, so you're sympathetic. You know what that feels like,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you don't want somebody. There's no merit in watching somebody go down.
Oh, it's
No,
the
there's no
worst.
merit to it.
Oh,
And
it's the
also,
worst. It's the
the
worst.
fucking
Yeah, you feel
worst
terrible for 'em.
feeling.
Wait, I want to talk about because you know I wanted
But
to.
you did. I'm sorry, I was just gonna say he was just talking about the auditioning shot. If you don't mind, just
Yeah.
1 second.
Oh yeah.
Made me think of another subject. No, I'm just kidding. No, while we're on the subject, is that, and you were talking about MTM. You did, I wasn't kidding in my intro.
Yeah.
You were on that 2 different iterations of the Mary Tyler, one called Mary and the other called Mary
Really?
Tyler
Yeah.
Moore Hour. Is that what it was called or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
With Dave Letterman.
With Letterman.
Wait,
Letterman bailed after the first one. Yeah, I stuck around.
That's so funny.
And they were in the fucking cast
I
together
didn't know that.
in 1978. Michael, is
Yeah.
that right?
Wait, did you work with Jimmy
something
Burrows?
like that. Jimmy Burrows. Wait, Jimmy Burrows directed.
He directed Mary Tyler
Wait,
Moore.
Jason, you and I. You know, one of my favorite jobs ever. I always really liked Gary Goldberg.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and I was really liked him. Good guy. And his wife, I remember Diana.
Courtney actually was just singing his praises 2 days ago at the same time she was singing yours.
Huh.
Yeah.
He gave me this gig that was one of my favorite. I'll talk to you about that MTM thing, but one of my favorite things I ever did was this character I did on. Tony Randall had a show for a minute. He had a couple of shows, I guess, many shows probably. But he had a thing called the Tony Randall Show, and Gary Goldberg hired me because he had seen me do something. I think he gave me the job. I might have auditioned, but night school. It was called Ed's Night School, I think. And Tony Randall taught law at a night school, and I played this kind of dude, and like kind of a little dense, which is always fun and hard to play. Like playing stupid is so.
Will has no problem playing.
No.
It's my fucking. It's my
Right out of bed.
That's your sweet spot. Anyway, so I played this thing, and as an aside, I learned as much about comedy from watching Tony Randall, because he would kind of direct, because he knew more than anybody anyway, and his precision was so, and I was about, like, I thought, no, man, freewheeling. His precision was so impressive that I remember going, whoa, pay attention to that. Where and the how and it was just really an education. So yeah, when I was doing that, and I apparently have forgotten the question, but
Mary Tyler Moore, Grant
Mary Tyler.
Tinker.
Oh, so then that led to all that other stuff. So Letterman bailed after the first we all thought it was going to be a little something, and she was wonderful. Lady, really liked her, and the guys who were part of that group, who was Jay Tarsis and Tom, those guys, they were part of it. So we went, well, their pedigree is really good, and it wasn't quite what we thought it would be. And Dave bailed, and I stuck around for the second iteration, which was so fun, man. I could afford a Honda, Honda Civic, and I could go. I remember driving to work down to MTM Studios, thinking, there's no way this could get better.
Yeah.
There's no way my life could get better than this.
Yeah.
And I was making, you remember that? I mean, you go,
dude.
Look what you're making, and it wasn't much. And you go, are you kidding me? I have a little apartment that's relatively clean.
Yeah.
I got a car. Yeah. Oh, man, it's so fucking great.
You just hit something, that sweet spot of that, you guys know too, like when you get that first gig where you go like, I'm fucking doing this.
I'm doing this.
And I'm getting paid, and I'm doing this.
And I remember the first year of Will and Grace, I was 27 years old. I was like, I'll get fired next week, I'm sure.
Sure, right. But it doesn't matter at the time. You
were on Will and Grace. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Michael, I want to go back to the Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah.
Looks incredible.
Yes.
When you got, it looks amazing. When you said yes to doing that, were you like, oh man, and the first day in the makeup trailer, you're like, why did I put this? Why did I say yes? I got to put the wig on. I got to put the fucking dirt on my face. I got to put the black circles. Or you're like, no, this is awesome.
It was the second. It was like, this is awesome, because you have to understand this is a long time in the making, but not so as you'd know it, right?
Yeah, because everybody I knew for years were like, why don't they do a sequel? Why don't they do a sequel?
Of course.
So finally it's here.
Because you can't recreate what we made. You can't write it. Imagine trying to write it when a lot of the writing just happened, It wasn't on the page so much, even though some of it was, and some of it was terrific, and the world was terrific. You go, do that again. You go, it doesn't work like that. Even in the most well-written, you could take Larry Gelbart or Neil Simon or any of the brilliant writers and try to duplicate Tootsie. It would have never, you couldn't do it again. So imagine trying to do that. So obviously that we were never going to do it. Then for years I thought, don't touch that. Leave that alone, man. That's a little piece. You just leave that alone. Don't touch it. But I liked it so much, and Tim and I worked so well together, and I liked him so much that every once in a while I would go, what do you think? And the answer was nah. And then it started getting more interesting to me, and I suggested I'd like to do that again. Then that time passed, and then I thought it was done. So when it came around again, we'd see scripts now and then, and they just, they just didn't work. And then these guys kind of got it, and we went, whoa, this could be good. So Tim started talking to me about it. He had to finish something. And so to answer your question, when you say, okay, I'm in. I had done I directed this movie, and I acted in another movie and another one, and I was a little tired, and I thought I would like another 2 months just to chill and kind of ramp it up. Yeah. And I didn't get it, and I thought, fuck it, let's go do it. So we went to go make it, and as I'm sitting in that makeup trailer that you mentioned, I remember going, this is really fun. And I'm really excited, and I'm nervous because I go, can you pull this off again? And can you do it? Because don't do it if you don't look stupid, and not just for me. Don't fuck this thing up, Right. And so what hit me was I was sitting in the makeup trailer, going, yeah, here we go, that's right, and trying to explain to the woman, it's got to. Not quite, talking her through that. And then we were getting there and getting ready to do it. And about 3 days in, I went, there's something wrong, and I don't know what's wrong. There's something off. That wasn't horrible.
Justin Theroux.
It's Justin Theroux. He comes in without any sleeves on.
He's so funny in this. Dude, he's so funny in this.
I don't buy it.
We'll wait and see.
There's something wrong.
I'll be the judge. I'll be the judge. And I
all right. So listen to this. So I'm sitting there, and I go, I don't know what this is. And I'm sitting in the makeup trailer, and I'm going, yeah, this is fun. I'm having fun. But what is bugging me? And I looked in the mirror, and I went, I got it. I know what it is. And I don't know about you guys. But I don't look at makeup anymore. I should go check more often in the monitor. I know I've made huge errors by not. I don't look at things anymore. Just go do it, and I go home. I looked in the mirror and I went, I got it. I know what it is. This thing we created came out of nowhere. It just came out of this nowhere. When I looked in the mirror, I saw toys. I went, this is fucked up. I saw you know what I mean? I saw little Beetlejuice toys.
Oh,
It looked like, you know what I mean? It looked like
Yeah.
keychains, and it looked like mugs, and it
The
looked
commercial
like,
part of it that it
yes,
had become.
all the merch.
yeah, and it wasn't that's a bad thing. It was, that perception is, yeah, we've seen them because
Right.
we've seen it on T-shirts. We've seen it. I go,
So did you change the look at all?
no, that's interesting. I didn't. I went a little bit.
Yeah.
There was something with the hair that wasn't working. I went, nah, that never really looked exactly like that. And you're trying to and then you go, get that, whatever it takes to get that out of your brain. Just go back to what made you even think of this friggin'
It's
thing.
a derivative. It's based
Yeah.
on it's based on an impression. I remember feeling that way with writers on who would go. All of a sudden, you'd read a script and they'd have your character do something, and I'm like, oh, they want me to do it based on because they saw me do this in other times.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that in other times my character did that because it was organic to what was happening.
Exactly.
Now they just want to see the trick. They don't want to see what led up to the trick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's the
And
same
you'll
way.
never do it as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you'll
if
never
you
do
had
it as well.
How did you
No.
fix that, Michael? How did you make a friend of the,
Psychologically, you had to go wipe that out of your brain, take it out of your brain.
Find a
So
new
you're
version
going
of
on
them, yeah?
set. Yeah, no, when you go on set, go, what was the thing originally?
Yeah.
What was this thing originally? Just go be that again.
make it yours again?
Yeah, make it yours again. Make it like, how did we come up with this crazy thing? And what was hard about that was there were certain things in this. Look, man, I'm on record as saying how good this thing is. I'm not going to go on and on. It's so good. But
Yeah, I'll bet.
Can't wait.
when I'd go on the set, there were things in this script, shows you how smart I am, that I remember reading the script, go, ooh, this could work. I go, I don't know about that. Tim likes that idea. I don't think that idea is good. 3 of them, I was wrong on all 3. I was wrong I was dead wrong. When I saw it, I went.
He's just a remarkable
Yes.
filmmaker. I mean,
Yeah,
he's never done anything easy, not
No.
once.
No.
And
Edward Scissorhands,
Yeah,
I
incredible.
just his degree of difficulty that he takes on and just drills it every single time.
Yeah.
I don't
Except
feel
for
like
Carol nail clipper feet. Hey, do you think?
Which was underrated, but
Which was so? Do you guys do? So you do this, and like you've gone on the record saying it's going to be great. I mean, that is a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
And you have this iconic thing that you guys correct, and you're like, I'm sure when you're reading it or you're doing it, you're thinking like, fuck, man, if we don't drill this, we got a target on our fucking back. People are going to come for us.
yeah, I honestly, I didn't.
But
really,
it's team sports, right? You don't really take.
It's
Do you,
team
do, you-
sports.
do you take it on, individually? No, right? I mean, don't you sort of? Do you get that sense when you're working on something that we're all kind of rowing in the same direction, and that it's not really on you because
if you're healthy, yeah.
yeah. Do you find yourself in that position as often as you want to mentally?
Good question. Yeah, mostly I think there's a part of me, and honestly, I'm not being humble here. There's a part of me that's just plain stupid. I think there's a part of me that just goes, I don't know. I don't think of some of these things other people think, and I don't know what that comes from, but I just don't. Sometimes I do, and I certainly was nervous about going back into it, only to say, can I do this? Not just do it and get through it, but go, can you get there because it's deserving of you being good. You need to be good. And in terms of me talking about it, I'll tell you, when I say I don't care what anybody else thinks of it, I'm willing to say what I think about it because this is just how I feel about it. There's movies I've seen and you guys have seen that people have hated, and I went, not me. I love this movie, or I don't, or other movies where you go, I don't get what people are raving about. It's just me. I don't care. Every person I've ever run into for the rest of my life could say, boy, that second Beetlejuice really sucked. I'd go, not to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it has so many elements. It's so beautiful, first of all, physically, and it's, you kind of care. And I'm telling you, every fucking person is funny in this. I mean, Justin is funny. Catherine is funnier than she was in the first one. Which is
And just for the audience, it is a biopic, yeah.
yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I just
you.
wanted to
Based
point
on a
out
true
people
story.
know
It's
there.
based on a true
Thank you for
story.
Yeah.
It's a true story of Beetlejuice, the character who goes across centuries.
You know what it is? It's
obviously.
licensed just to go out and be silly. It's just
Yeah, I love that.
licensed to
I
make
love
it
that.
up.
Great.
I love it.
Oh, man. Look, like we say, we've taken up too much of your time. I could talk to
Way
you
too much,
forever,
like an
man.
hour.
Way too
Yeah.
much.
I know.
Yeah, really.
And we're just, what a thrill to have you, man, on the show. You're just, I just love that, like Jason said, that you're still doing it, that you're still rising, you're still doing incredible stuff. You keep surprising us and mixing
And might
it up.
I add that you look fucking fantastic.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
you look great.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Look
I haven't
fucking
seen you in
great.
30
You
years.
sound great. You don't
look
sound
great.
crazy. I hope I'm not crazy ever. You know what I mean?
You're
None
kind.
of us get
You're
crazy.
appreciative. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
come on,
you've
what's
done it
wrong?
all. I mean, and I mean that
Fucking
in the
Michael
best way
Keaton,
because
for Christ's sake.
but you've done it
Jesus.
all, and you've got your fucking feet
guy.
on the ground, and you're just.
Let me ask you a question. If I would do the show every day, would I get this?
Yeah, no, not really. It's just
No,
it's,
you would not.
it's usually just once,
not.
but it's
That's a fucking good question, by the way. That's a good question.
That's really
no.
funny.
We turn on you pretty quick.
I like the read, Jason. It wasn't mean. It was not. I'm being honest. Not probably.
Just the one.
We turn on each other. It doesn't take much for us to turn on each other. It happens
yeah.
pretty quick.
Immediately, we'd put you right in the stew. You'd
Yeah.
get it as hard as we do.
Yeah. But what a thrill, man. It was so great to talk to you. And Beetlejuice, man, I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Let's hang.
Michael.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
come on back out of Montana and come hang out with us.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Honestly, it was really fun. Thank
Oh,
you.
thanks,
Thank you,
man.
Good to
Marshall.
see you, Michael.
All right,
Thank
brother.
you, buddy.
See you.
Bye. You've been stealing Michael Keaton shit for years.
I know. I didn't want to embarrass him as well because, and I've got to know him just to say hello over the last 5-6 years or something. We'd see each other at stuff, and you know where I always talk to him, JB?
Huh.
Conan's Christmas party.
Oh, you
But
motherfucker.
it's true, I do.
You're going to get invited this year again.
Don't
Yeah,
you
you
even
probably
mention
get it
his name to me.
And I always talk to him about stuff, and I always tell him how much. And he's a big hockey fan. He's a big Penguins fan. So we talk hockey, and then last year he was really kind to me. He said something really nice about me on Colbert about
Oh, nice.
which was a fucking thrill of a lifetime.
Aw.
But anyway, so and I just love the way he does it, and it's the only impression I've ever done, and I don't want to. And he doesn't know this is of him, but it's an impression of him from Gung Ho.
Uh-huh. We
and I
didn't
go-
talk
I
about
go-
that.
Do it?
I go, "Hey, they're going. The Japanese, they bought the car plant.
That's really good.
Listener, if
I
you
mean,
could
people
see
can't
it,
see it.
if you could see
You
it,
can see it. It's good,
you'd
right?
say
It's really good.
close.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been such a fan of his. And like Jay, you pointed out, he does seamlessly between comedy and drama and absurdism and just everything. And
Yeah, and I like what you
My
said.
Life. Have you ever watched My Life?
No.
I think I probably have.
It's so great and sad and oh my God. So good.
What are you
Anyway.
going to say, Jay?
Well, just that he's reached such an enormous height of success and relevance, yet he can still go to the market. Yeah, and he can still get a movie financed. Like that's really
I
hard
don't know
to.
if he could.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah, the
He
market?
could go to the market for sure because he's not a celebrity. He's just a really, really well-respected, very famous actor that
Yeah.
can do anything, and people go to see him.
Yeah, and I like what you said, Jason, about the you can't really nail him down. Like you can't, or maybe you said it well, that you can't
label him.
Yeah, you can't label him. Right.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so true.
Yeah.
That by the way, that movie, My Life, is about a guy who's going to die and his son's going to be born. It's with Nicole Kidman, I think, and he leaves videos for his son because he's not going to meet him
Oh,
of
geez.
what to do and how to live his life, what to do and how to do stuff.
If you're looking to
It's-
get rid of any tears, I guess you just
Yeah.
dial that up.
If
Any
I could,
extra
I wish
tears.
I could hug you guys right now.
You
Yeah,
dump
yeah.
some.
Hey, on that ranch that he was living on, do you think there were a lot of animals around there? Like what kind of animals do you
I
think?
gotta
on that
hope
ranch?
your
boy, I
fucking
don't
mic
know.
cuts
What
out.
kind of
I hope the
animals?
electricity goes out of your house, right?
Wait, no, like there's
Oh, I
probably
know-
like
I know where it's
cows,
going.
and there's
The
probably
cows
like
or
bigger
chickens,
cows
maybe
and like
bigger cows.
chickens.
You mean like some bison?
Bye.
Bye.
Smart. Less. Smart. Less.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Bennett Barbaco, Michael Grant Terry, and Rob Armjarf.
SmartLess.